Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Imprecisely. I'm joined by a good friend of mine. It's a very special guest, future Oscar Award winner, and MMA commentator, Mr. Brandon Hagio. What's good, brother? How you doing, man?
What's up, man? Nice
What a
intro.
very accurate intro. So, just for people who don't know, just get right into it. You're a stage actor and a film actor. Stage being like plays, right, and like stuff like that, like live audience. And you've also done.
I've done theater basically like half my life. I started my junior in high school, and then I've done a few films here and there. Just recently, I did a film that was supposed to go to the Made in Hawaii festival. They're gonna do a little film thing over there, and that ended up not happening.
What film was this supposed to be?
It was a short film I did with a friend of mine, kind of a passion project, but I'm not really sure if it had a title. If it did, I don't remember.
So you've done film. Oh, you've acted pretty much half your life. So just to take it all the way back, like how did you get into acting? Or did you always knew this is something you wanted to do, or like you did it once randomly and somebody was like, "Hey, why don't you take it more seriously?" and got the ball rolling? Or how did this all start?
Oh, basically, my junior year in high school, I wanted to have the most pictures in the yearbook, so I joined. I joined every club. I joined every committee, and I saw that there was a drama club, so I was like, I'm gonna join that too. Like, it was pretty ridiculous. I was the only Asian in the Polynesian club.
You joined the Polynesian club?
I joined the Polynesian club, and
just to get a better understanding, right, of the culture. First
day of the meeting, they told me I had backup for life, so yeah, it was great. You know, like every other club, great for college, but not practical. I think, you know.
No, you don't get those phone calls to come scoop you up when it's popping off. That's so funny.
But yeah, so I joined the drama club, and yeah, I did. I've been acting ever since, basically. I kind of, you know, I did it in high school as like just for fun, because like I really like the people, like the people in my first cast. We did Macbeth, the Scottish play.
Okay.
Macbeth, but
right.
It's cursed. There's a curse to that show. Why people don't really say it, but yeah, I just had like, you know, there's like football players, there's like band geeks, there's like popular kids, there's like every kind of person that was in the high school was you know, in that drama club. So it was fun to socialize. And when I started going to college at Leeward, I started taking theater over there just because, you know, it fulfilled that whatever liberal arts degree requirements, right? And then I don't know, I just got the bug, and I've done it ever since. Yeah.
You remember the first? I'm assuming you did plays first before like anything on film. So because of school, right? So you remember the very first play you ever did, and what was it?
Well, like the very first show that I worked on was in 5th grade.
Oh, wow.
Frog Prince. I opened and closed the curtains. That was like my first show. But yeah, Macbeth was my first like real show where I'm actually acting on stage. It was funny too, because when I auditioned, because it was for the purpose of getting pictures in the yearbook, I just wanted like the smallest role ever. So I had like one line at the end of the play, and like that was my first show.
What was your role?
old C-word. So
Oh,
there's a character named C-word in the play. I played his dad, old C-word.
okay.
Yeah.
What was your line?
Uh, what is this before us?
That's it. That was-
Yeah.
did you? Oh, so you intentionally wanted the smallest role, so you auditioned for that one, or they just gave it to you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I just said I wanted to be a tree in the background. I got a character with a line. So
Okay.
yeah,
That's so funny. I
that was
remember
my
like when I
first
was
show.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. When I think I was around the same age when I was like in fifth or sixth grade as well. My
Mhm.
parents, they, I don't want to say forced, but let's call it like it is. They forced me to to do this musical,
Uh-huh.
Suzical the musical, because
Nice. Okay.
I was very into music, and then they were like good church friends. Like the director was like from a sister church of ours, and
Mhm.
so my parents, signed me up. I went to like this, I think it was like a break-in auditioning type of camp where we got away for like a week, just like having, it's like a regular like kids camp where you have fun, you have activities, and then you like, I guess you do exercises, and then they kind of, if you want to audition for specific things, they do. If not, they'll just throw you in a role. And then they gave me Yertle the turtle. Like, I was Yertle the turtle, which is cool. I like
Nice.
turtles. I like reptiles. So and
Yeah.
then it was fitting. It was actually kind of perfect for me because when I sing, I'm like a tenor. Like I don't sing too low. I don't sing extremely high. So it was just like,
Mhm.
it was like, oh my God, they made this role for me. And then I think it was different because that one, it was like acting along with singing. So that's as far as my acting experience has ever gone. Besides, like
Nice.
little, besides like my own music videos and little stuff for school. But yeah.
Mhm.
So when I met, so besides knowing you from work at the mental hospital, I ran into you, my girlfriend's sister. Just to put this story in context, she brought me, and my girlfriend and their other sister to this play. What is the theater in town called?
Um, it was for Koa Productions, Kailo on Stage Arts,
Okay,
but it was at Mark's Garage. So
yeah,
it was
that's
in
right.
Chinatown. Mark's Garage,
Yeah,
their arts place.
right, right. So just to put this story in context, we went there for this. My sister's girlfriend invited, my girlfriend's sister invited us to a show, and it was rolling the R's. So it's pretty much like, the experience of a Filipino migrating, who's like growing up in Hawaii from the Philippines
Mhm.
in like the early 70s, I want to say, if I remember correctly, and just like the turmoil and experiences and trials that they had to experience, adjusting to like a new country and new society, and then like with their own, issues like home life and sexual orientation, all those, racism, a bunch of stuff. And then it was really great. I laughed a lot, and it was like it hit home. It was like it hit home kind of because like my dad moved here from the Philippines. Like he was like in the early 70s and all that. So in the
Mhm.
80s. So and then I ran into you there. I was like, dude, what are you doing here? Like, because in my mind, like in my mind, we're just coworkers and we just talk about MMA all the time. I was like, what are
Yeah,
you doing
yeah.
here? And you're like, oh, like I helped produce this show. And I was like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, I act, but I've been like, you were out for some reason, so I helped produce this. I was like, wait, hold on, you act? Oh, wait, hold on, you helped produce this? Wait,
Yeah.
what? And then yeah. So like, how did you like? When did you make the transition from like acting to helping produce shows? And by produce, do you mean like
Assistant.
entirely?
I was assistant director for that show.
Oh,
So
okay. When did you
AD.
start directing?
Um. Well, when I was going to Leeward, the the theater director over there, Paul Cravath, Paul Cravath, he he used to do this thing called the 10-minute play festival. So like a bunch of us could like take 10-minute plays, direct it, get your friends to act in it, or have like little auditions, and we would put on this festival, and like there'd be like 5 or 6 of us that would direct like 10-minute plays. So like I did that a couple times while I was going to school, and then uh, okay, so I started ADing at Kumkuha Theater, which is, by the way, the best theater on the island. Watch all of their things, people. It's the greatest theater. But
Nice little plug.
I was there's this title I was chasing at the theater. I wanted to be king of Kumu, and basically what you kind of have to do is act in every show for the whole season. And a show came up, Wild Birds, which is about the Kahuna going to mission schools with the cooks. Anyway, and I'm Asian and I don't look Hawaiian at all.
Oh, really?
So
couldn't tell.
opted. So I opted in to assistant direct for it because I couldn't act in it, so I wanted to work on it. And I don't know, it's fun. Like directing is different. I imagine it's the same as like coaching and coaching MMA and actually fighting it.
Right.
Like the Javier Mendez types and whatnot.
But
Frasa Javi, greatness. But yeah, it's something that I'm gonna be doing sooner or later, but I gotta get this acting thing figured out first. I'm still working on that.
Right. So far, everything that you've dabbled in terms of directing, you were assistant directing. You never actually had a whole project under your wing by yourself yet.
I directed for a festival for it was like a playwriting festival, and I directed a show for that, but nothing like full length, like the show you watch, Rolling the R's. By the way, which is like probably one of the greatest plays written in Hawaii.
It was fun. It was great.
The Filipino culture, I think it's probably one of the best. So
yeah,
you guys went to a good show, and some of my best friends were in that show, and they were, I don't know, you can say I thought they were swell.
No, yeah, everybody was awesome. There were a few actors and actresses who I could tell, like, I guess weren't full Filipino, but they nailed the accent. And then like that one guy, it was just so ironic. I would never forget this. Like I was sitting in the front, pretty much like I could walk onto the stage if I wanted to. But like there was a part of the song where like in his line where he came up to me and then he like pointed at me saying like I have no nuts or something like that. I was just like, and then the spotlight came out, was shining on me. I was just like, oh, all right. But yeah, like that was a good play though. Like it had everything. It had trials, and then it had comedic relief. The acting was good. The story was written well. It was relatable. It was in a real world, because I guess it is. It was like a complete body of work. So I'm glad to have experienced that as my first one. But what would you say, like? Oh, so before I ask you that, what responsibilities does the assistant director have as opposed to the director? Like where's the line in terms of what you guys take care of, what you oversee, or what you have a say in?
It really depends on which director you're working with, but it kind of boils down to what Dwight does on The Office with Michael. Like how he's assistant to the manager. He's not assistant manager of Dunder Mifflin. Okay. So you just kind of cover the bases that the director, you try to help them see everything. And depending on which director you're working with, sometimes you'll be able to block out full scenes. And you just have conversations about, casting and like the flow of the show. And it's kind of basically like directing, but they're like, well, they're helping you. Well, you're helping them, but you're helping them, and it's helping you in return, I guess.
No, that's cool. So, like, were you able to, like, I mean, I'm assuming everything has to go back through the director, but has there ever been a time where, like, you made calls, you made decisions that, like, that followed through, and then, like, what you saw come to fruition was, your decision or, like, your idea and stuff?
Mhm. Yeah. So the first show I AD'd for Wild Birds, I was working with Harry Wong the third, probably one of the best directors on the island, and he had me block out certain scenes, and we would go over the vision and like why things were the way they were, and like studying under him is basically kind of like uh, the, the actors in our community, we call it going through the school of Wong. So like you learn so much from him. And then the show that you watched, Reiko Ho directed that one. She's actually a Aikido instructor in town.
Oh,
So
cool.
Yeah, she's great. Working with her, that was the first time I worked with her, and she has great vision. So just helping her focus on that vision, and taking care of loose ends that she doesn't need to worry about.
So
Basically, yeah.
Oh, cool. So like when you have an assistant director and director, is there like a melting pot process where you guys meet up, or like you guys already have like a prior relationship, or there's times where you meet random directors you've never worked with before or never met, and then you guys gotta think as you go together, or do they have like a set thing and they just kind of do your part, but for the most part it's like they have a set vision or whatever?
It really depends. But usually you want to know the person you're working with, just because you want to have the same vision in mind, and you don't want to be working with somebody that doesn't think like you or similar, and does that answer the question?
Yeah. No, yeah. So like I want to ask because like you compare the relationship to like a fighter and a coach, and there's been a lot of coaches, whether it's boxing or mixed martial arts, that were former fighters. So I just want to ask you, like, being an actor, then also having directed, what are the differences that are very evident to you, and what do you feel like you've learned as an actor that you were able to carry into directing that help you be a better director, and vice versa? Like, what are the things you've learned from directing that you will help you, be a better actor?
It's funny when you brought that up, because a lot of directors that I've worked with, were former actors or are former or still act, but it's weird because the better, at least for myself, I feel like the better I get at acting, the better I'll be able to direct an actor, because I don't know, I feel like I need to experience everything I can as an actor before I try to at least try to direct something. And I've got plays in mind of shows I'd like to work on, but it's just like the incubation in my mind is still, it's not done yet, and it's different when you're an actor, because all you got to worry about is your character and how they are within the world of whatever you're presenting. But it's the director's responsibility to see the world itself around them, and try to create a storyline out of that, words on a page. And I feel like the better I get at acting, the better I think I'll be at, or the better prepared, the more prepared I'll be for directing.
Are there like specific
asking some hard questions, man?
Yeah, sorry. No, I just really want to know, like, are there specific skills that like you've developed acting that like you've noticed and were able to use as a director, and then vice versa, like when you're directing, you're able to implement this or think about this because you've done it as an actor yourself?
So when I was working under Harry Wong, he has this capability of talking to people and like guiding them while they're developing their character in a show. And it's something that maybe it might be something a unique trait to him as a director, but it's something that I'm still trying to like figure out, like that just that transition of knowledge between two people, and acting under great directors. And you know, normally people who do AD, they have the intention of directing later. So I don't know.
Oh, no, that's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, I just wanted to know. Do you have like a do you try to vary your like your arsenal kind of, or like you have a specific like, or do you feel like you've been typecasted, or do you like try to go out for different things, or do you have a specific mold or category that you typically like to audition for and play, or do you just kind of do whatever?
Having a type. So when I started acting, I was kind of just this goofy, silly guy. So
The comedic relief guy.
even now to this day, like I still kind of do those type of characters, but I don't know. It's fun. I love doing funny, silly shows, but it just makes you hungry for a challenge, you know, to do like a serious role, you know, kind of like when like Adam Sandler and Jim Carrey and all those types, they you know, they transitioned to doing dramas. Robin Williams, kind of did it the whole time, but yeah. So like, what was it? Maybe two and a half years ago, I did kind of my first real serious show, and I had a blast.
Just because it was like something fresh and new and different, yeah, as opposed to like what you're used to doing.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I would figure that's like. Oh, sorry.
The show I worked on was called Dead of Night by Ed Sakamoto, and basically by the end of the show, spoilers, my best friend is accusing me of setting us up to a bunch of people died, and then like he's like accusing me at the end. Like, it's a great story. Sorry, I don't know why I even brought that up.
no, that's fine. Yeah, because I would figure like as an actor, like, obviously to kind of get your feet wet, you do things that are like familiar or comfortable, and then eventually, like as you start to take it more seriously, and as you're taking more seriously, and you notice like growth as an actor, you'd want to like you said, have a challenge or do something out of your comfort zone, or like take roles that you typically wouldn't imagine yourself doing. So that being said, like have you felt like there's been roles that came across you opportunity wise that you took, or maybe you passed up, that made you go, huh, this is different, I don't know if I can do this, but I'm willing to try, or like, yeah, just like something that's not typically in your wheelhouse kind of thing?
The first thing I can think of, I worked on this show called Echoes of That Red Guitar back in 2016, and I played this character, and like, you know, I've been doing like silly fun stuff pretty much my whole career as an actor, and he had to be like deadpan, like super deadpan, like it was uncomfortable for me to like do it, and it became I didn't even understand, because like it didn't comprehend in my mind that I got to be speaking so slowly and just like having nothing. And I don't know, it got like all these laughs when it finally opened, and I don't know, it taught me the lesson to just always open your mind to the uncomfortable.
That's true.
You don't know, you don't know, but somebody else can see it.
Right.
And yeah, and you know, it was funny when you were talking about working as Yertle the Turtle in Suzuko, because possibly the most uncomfortable I've ever been, at least at an audition standpoint, was for a musical. Like talking and speaking in front of people is easy for me, but like singing in front of people is like hard. It's like gives me anxiety. As probably it would probably give maybe you anxiety to be on stage with a monologue. It's like 3 pages.
I think I kind of want to dabble into it personally. I think what would give me anxiety is just like remembering, like, because I feel like for me, regardless if it's like acting or musical performances, like, or even just like public speaking, I do better when the audience is bigger. I'm able to like look at them as a big just sea of people, like an ocean of people, and I'm not able to see individual faces and their reactions. I just kind of like I'd feel more comfortable if I'm performing whatever in front of like 100 people than 10 people, where I can individually see their mood and their attitude and their reactions. You know what I'm saying? Like when it's just
that's the part that's the best, man. You want to see what you're doing.
True. That's also true. I feel like I've gotten to a point now where I've been on stage enough to where it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to think of it from a standpoint of like doing something new, like a full-on acting thing. When it comes to music, I don't care. I'll perform in front of 1,000 or one person. But yeah, if I was supposed to dabble into acting, I think just because it's something new, I would prefer it. Because I feel like that, just like you, like maybe because of like who I am, I would like get typecasted as comedic relief, or like just like some kind of like henchman thug or something that but like, I also actually have 3 pages of monologue and dialogue. Like, oh man, just I can't even remember what I had for breakfast like yesterday. So it's like, yeah.
I get you.
Hey, would you? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It was funny. Like right before we jumped onto this chat, I was watching that Chinese guy that beats up all the kung fu dudes.
Which one?
Have you that Chinese guy? I forgot his name. He got famous like a few years ago because he like.
The Chinese guy who's into mixed martial arts.
The MMA guy.
Exposing all those like fake martial artists. Yeah.
But he just recently fought a Tai Chi master. It's just kind of funny.
Those are the best.
He won with a leg kick and a right and a left to the face, and then the fight was over.
I've seen those. Those are funny. Well, that
and
whole,
then the Tai Chi master said that like the sun was in his face, and then like Tai Chi isn't meant for soft surfaces, so he couldn't like use his full power. It was stupid.
First of all, like that's his fault. I mean, Tai Chi is. I feel like there's benefits of doing Tai Chi, like health-wise and like mentally, but it's not a form of combat training. So that's where like that's where that teacher, that master's whole like mentality went south. It's like you're letting probably ego get in the way. Like it's not a bad thing or useless thing, but it's in terms of like protecting yourself and defending yourself in combat, that's not what that's made for, But yeah. Hey, I wanted to ask before I forget, like before we transition to all that, has there ever been like a director where like you were either assistant directing or like as an actor that they were making decisions that you didn't agree with, and then how did you like handle that? Or did you just have to suck it up and then because he's the boss or she's the boss?
No, I don't think I've ever done anything I wasn't comfortable doing. As much as possible, the theater community that at least I like to work in, we make sure that whenever we come across something that like we're not okay with or that we're uncomfortable with, that we bring it up and we find a way to work it out. Usually like if it's like artistically something I don't understand as far as for a character that I'm working on, I'll usually talk about that with the director afterwards. But not in general. I tend to work with people with good reputations.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good. So besides obviously like, like not being able to do different takes because it's continuously going live, what are like the major differences you feel personally you've experienced and that you can differentiate between acting on stage in front of a live audience as opposed to acting for film, where you can do different takes and just,
I the main difference I like to say is that acting is more internal on film, and on stage it's more external.
meaning.
So you express outwardly on stage.
Mm-hmm.
When you're on film, it's more things going on in the head. You gotta like it's less. You got to tone it down. Like when you do stuff on stage, it has to be more ah.
Exaggerated kind of.
Yeah, and like on film, it's more.
What? Why is that? Wouldn't you think it's like you want to give as much as possible, even if it's like internally or like even if it's on film, just to get the whole performance across? You're not saying like
There's
you're conserving it, right?
yeah. I think if you see the thing with film is that it's produced, so there's like there's filters on it. There's a musical score. There's all these other things that come into play. For theater, it's different. I had to do an interview a few weeks ago for my friend of mine who's doing a project for school, and one of the people that was interviewed besides myself was this great director Tori Kinoshita. She's like my favorite director, and she was saying that film is great because it can be viewed by many, and there can be meaningful message to it. But the value of theater is that it's for the few, and the message is much more powerful. It's live right there in front of you. And does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. No, thank you. Do you feel like if you were to put yourself in the shoes of the audience, is it? I mean, obviously it's different, but like, how so is it different? Like, if you're watching a play live, and then like later on, watching like a recording of it, like, do you feel like the performances and everything still like translate to after? Because it's technically live acting now on film. Because you're like when you watch a recorded live play, you know what I mean?
It's kind of like going to a football game and watching football on
Or any
TV,
sporting game, right?
or
Any
going to a sporting event, or going to a concert, or like watching a concert, recorded.
True.
Like oh man, I've been watching that Doja Cat video like every day. That rock version she did.
Oh.
I never thought I'd like say so, but like, damn man, I've been watching it like at least once a day. I just think about it and like, so good, man.
I like say
like
so.
Doja Cat and
Nicki,
Doja
right?
Cat and MGK. I think they're gonna make rock and roll cool again finally.
Bro, that's so crazy. I seen like apparently like people were thinking, oh, that's not gonna happen. But you know how like Eminem literally ends careers because after he mauls you on wax, nobody wants to hear you anymore. Like they lose interest in you. And dog, I seen MGK. I seen his posts, and then people obviously like all the tabloids posting about it. Like he's literally switching genres now. Like Eminem made him switch. There's a bunch of artists who do a bunch of genres, but this guy's literally going from this and now only doing this. Like he's like doing like punk rock now. I was like, dang, bro.
I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. He's just kind of flipping it.
I'm like, man, geez, no one wants to hear you rap no more. Like, I just want to know, like, when he dissed Eminem, who was in the studio that night that gave him the green light? That like that nodded their head like, yeah, that's a good idea. Like, why would
Was it
you?
was it a real beef though? Because like they're on the same record label, so I just kind of thought it was like a fun thing to like hype both of them up, you know?
I don't know. I think Eminem dissed him first, to be honest, on Kamikaze,
Yeah,
on Not Alike, because of MGK's comments toward his daughter. So Rap Devil technically was like the second in the whole situation. It's not like MGK came
yeah.
out first, and then Killshot came out, and then that was it. But yeah, I was like, who who gave him the nod? Like, yeah, let's go through with this. Like, I mean, yeah.
I
She,
don't know. It's like a moment in rap history, you know,
yeah,
like
I mean, it was fun. It was
the
a fun
time
little
Icarus
like,
tried to fly too close to the sun, you know,
yeah, or like when
and he
you're
got
on like,
melted.
or like you're at the zoo and you see somebody trying to like stick their hand in the tiger cage, and then the tiger wakes up. It was one of those. It was cool though. I remember like in that moment, um, there was like that whole time frame. There was a bunch of other stuff going on, like Jordan Lucas and Tory Lanez. It was just kind of waking up, like
Mhm.
music or hip hop in general. Just you need those. They're healthy as long as they stay on wax. It's good for the culture.
Yeah.
It's good for both artists, kind of, for the most part. Not in MGK's case, like the notoriety, the name gets put out. I remember like when it was before, like I think it was the Grammys or some music award show, like 50 and Kanye were going at it, and
Mhm.
then but it's all like all publicity is good publicity. So like it doesn't matter if they want to see you win or lose, they're tuning in, and then that's more eyes and ears on you, on your product, on your brand, possibly buying your stuff. So it's like it's all good in the end, except for in the cases of those who go at Eminem.
Cause 50 said he was gonna quit
Retire?
rap, right?
Yeah.
If his
If
didn't
Kanye
go
sold
number
more.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. They went face to face like they were at a fighting event and Kanye was like tippy toeing. I remember that. But
Stupid.
wait, so like you've done musicals before?
No.
Oh, you were
I've
just saying like in like rhetorically, like if you were to do it, like you would
Oh
feel
no,
like
I auditioned
anxious.
for one and I got in. I actually auditioned for two shows at the same time and I went with the other show. That wasn't a musical. And
Oh,
it was the better choice at the time. But I think like through this quarantine, this weird ass quarantine,
mhm.
um, I think I'm gonna as soon as things kind of get better, I'm gonna start taking voice lessons,
Ah,
and I'd like to actually
yeah, yeah,
try doing a musical.
nice.
So that's
Yeah,
something on my to-do list.
cool. Yeah, it's different, bro. Especially if it's like like there's no cutscene. It kind of just right into a dialogue acting line, then boom, start singing. Like, like it's
Mhm.
it's it's yeah. I remember it's different. I remember like because not only now do you have to memorize lines, there's a whole
Mhm.
performance aspect of the music. So like
That's kind of the reason why I avoided musicals for so long is because like you have like acting rehearsal and then you have like a
singing
voice
rehearsal and
rehearsal
then dance
and then you have
rehearsal.
movement and it's just like I don't
There's
want
a
to deal
lot.
with that.
I mean, after that whole experience, I've never disrespected anyone who does musicals, and I've always like they I held them in a higher regard in terms of like putting an effort into what they do, and I respect them a lot more. But I was just like, nah, I'm not.
Mm.
I'll act, I'll do music videos, I'll do music, but musicals,
Yeah.
I'm good on that. But like it wasn't a bad experience in the end. I'm glad I was part of that. I got to experience that, and it was cool. But
Mhm.
yeah, just take me to like I just want to like know exactly like if possible in depth, like take me to the whole process of um finding out about like an opportunity, auditioning for the role, performing the audition, getting the role, rehearsals, and then the actual night of the performance. Like take us through that whole process. Like how does that work? Like does you have a manager who calls you, or are you looking for roles, and then how often are rehearsals, or blah blah blah?
At least in Hawaii, usually what the you can either like check like hittingthestage.com or like being part of the email list for theaters that you're interested in acting at, and usually they'll post up the shows for the season, and sometimes they'll even have PDFs for the actual scripts, and you read them, see what part you want, and you audition. You show up whenever they have auditions, and sign in, put down what kind of roles you want, and usually it's not a cold reading, but they'll do like a warm reading, where they'll give you a few minutes where you can actually go through the scene a few times with whatever you're auditioning with. And
Oh, right there on the
after
spot.
that, yeah.
Oh, wow.
After that, you wait, and then give you a call, either your cast or callbacks, and after that, you rehearse. And you figure it out, man. Keep adding ingredients to the stew, mix it up, and then you put it on stage.
So if you don't get a callback, pretty much, it's not like they inform you that you didn't get the role. Like if they don't call you, then you didn't get it, kind of thing.
Usually the AD or the stage manager will give you a call and let you know that you didn't get a role. But if you didn't get a role, you just weren't the right fit for the character. It's not anything to feel bad about.
Yeah.
A lot of times people take it personally, man, when you don't get in.
They believe like they were made for this role or something like that.
Sometimes, man, like it's dramas.
How long is that process usually? Like, I would guess it varies depending on what show you're doing, what story you're telling. But like, if you to give like an estimate, like a general time frame, like is it a couple months, half a year?
Yeah, it's usually about 8 weeks for a rehearsal process, and if you're doing a show at Kumud and you do 5-week run, possibility of extending another 2 weeks.
On top of your own personal rehearsing at home, like jeez.
Yeah, well, learning lines. It's about all I do at home.
Man, I watch so many interviews of like I always watch like interviews like before and after, like especially for movies that I love, and then I what always intrigues me is like people's like their methods to remembering their lines. So I remember one time like Robert Downey Jr. He was saying Gwyneth Paltrow. She can look at a page, and then boom, she got it. Like if she goes over it and over and over it, she'll do it like verbatim. And then him, it's kind of like that, but he's very witty and quick, so he'll improvise. Like he'll stick to it and then add this in and then go back to it and then sprinkle this in. Like, do you have a specific process that you do, or are you pretty keen at like sticking to the script, or like is it hard for you so you kind of like just paraphrase it, or like what's your process like in terms of memorizing your lines?
I like to be about like 90% positive with my lines.
90%.
Just
90.
I'll learn all of it, but I'll be around 90% because like I always like to try to keep a little bit of wiggle room in there for like
Improv.
Not necessarily improv, but in case things happen. So I don't want to be 100% sold, sticking to something that I can't deviate out of in case something happens.
And
as far as memorizing,
what's an example of what would happen or could happen?
So many wild things. As far as things going wrong, like so like lines being said differently. So like, well, what's important for me is that I get the cue lines right for the person who has to say their lines next. Yeah.
And then, in terms of memorizing, do you just like constantly just keep reading the page?
Depends. It really depends. Sometimes you can just look at it Gwyneth Paltrow style and it's just in there. Sometimes it just takes forever and you got to go over it a million times. That's why Shakespeare is like the hardest, because people know when you mess up with Shakespeare.
It's Old English too, so it's like not typically what you hear, so they would know like,
It's hard to cover.
Yeah, I can imagine. So for stage acting, like when you guys do rehearsals, is it like for film where like one day you meet up and you're going over this portion of the script, or it's like you do the whole thing every practice, every rehearsal?
No, it's usually it's scene by scene, and
Oh, okay.
the closer you get to opening, you'll start doing acts and then full run throughs.
Oh, so you can start by like just kind of memorizing this section, this section, this section till it's down pat because that's what the rehearsal's on, just that section.
That's what people are supposed to do, but
Mm,
doesn't happen all the time.
I see.
Sometimes the people with the least amount of lines take the longest to memorize them. Yeah, I don't understand it, you know.
Yeah.
Like, unless you know what you're saying, the director can't truly work with you, you know.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like you're robbing yourself of valuable time.
True. Have you ever had to like improvise and then like it actually worked out or went the opposite way where it was like, oh.
You know, it usually always works out because generally the audience has not seen whatever
Mhm.
you're doing on stage. So if something does go wrong or somebody forgets something, you can cover it. Um, sometimes, yeah, that's usually when fun stuff happens. When you gotta like save a scene, you know, like
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
how do we get through this?
That's right. I remember watching like this YouTube like video like it was like top 10 scenes that were improvised. And then you remember I think it was Fast 6, I want to say. Yeah, I want to say 6.
Okay.
Where like they're barbecuing at the end and then The Rock and Thor's wife was like walking to like give Dom his like freedom. I believe that was
Mhm.
6. Yeah, it was 6. And then Tyrese was like, "Hey Mia, you better hide your baby oil." And The Rock was like, "You better hide that big ass forehead." And then Ludacris like spit out his drink. Like that was like for some reason I just knew that was improv when I seen it in the theater too. And then I was like,
Yeah.
that was hilarious. But like I was like, man, I wonder how much that happens and how much takes in acting like where it doesn't work, you know?
Mhm.
Because like I know even like when Batista when he was Drax when he's like in Infinity War when he's like I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora? Like that was improv too. Like and you know those two like examples those were like golden examples. But in my head I was thinking, man, like I wonder how many occurrences there are where like everything's going smooth, the scene is going great, everyone's lines are down, and then someone does improv whether because they forgot to or they felt like it, and then it just ruined the whole thing when it was going perfectly like well, you know. So I was
Mhm.
wondering like how often that happens, or if you've ever experienced anything like that.
As much as possible, if you're doing like a non-improv show, because I do improv too, but like if somebody improvises a line, that's a big no-no, man. Like I froze on stage one time because somebody improvised a line on purpose.
I thought because you were
I
waiting for the
was
cue.
yeah, I was waiting
Uh,
for my cue line, and this guy was trying to be all cool, and he was playing like Lumiere,
and it makes you look.
and he said "more fire" afterwards. I guess he was trying to do like a Jamaican like Rasta thing.
uh,
Like he said that, and like I was like, man, that's so dumb. And then I was like, holy crap, I don't know my line now. And then like I forgot it.
how long did it take for you to like
Freezing,
recover?
like it felt like an eternity, but it was probably only like 5 or 6 seconds. You know, it's just
Oh
like that.
man.
Yeah,
Jeez.
freezing on stage is interesting. I haven't done it in a very long time, but it's like this fog. It like envelops your mind, and you can't think of anything, and you can't do anything. So you're just like
Mm.
standing there, and
You
you can
just
see everybody looking at you, and
just
it's the worst feeling in the world, man.
just blame it on dramatic effect. Like just pausing, smoldering dramatic effect.
I wish. It looks like you're crapping your pants usually.
Especially if you have like a look of confusion, you know, you're just like, oh, excuse me. Anyways, like,
Yeah.
you know what I like about certain actors? Like, I said this in a
Mm,
podcast before, but like now that I'm speaking to an actor, because I was using it in a context of music, I believe, but like now that I
mm,
can use it in the terms of how I actually think about it, because I'm speaking to an actor. Um, what I like about certain actors is they'll do a variety and have a wide range of roles, but no matter what they do, like they have their own personal like stamp. Like you know it's them. Like the example I used was De Niro. Like Robert De Niro. Like he can play a
Mhm.
mob gangster. He can play a grandfather. He can play a boxer. He can play like a cancer patient. All different roles, but like you know, like it's him. What I don't like besides obviously his voice and his face, there's just something about it. Like I don't know if it's the aura or the charisma. Like you know it's him. Even like Stallone, like whether you see Sylvester Stallone as a soldier, as a boxer, as
I think
like
it's impossible to look at Stallone as
exactly
anything but Stallone.
yeah, like or when he was in Spy Kids or like when he's in Guardians of the Galaxy, like you know it's him. Like like you know like or
Yeah.
even like Will Smith. Like Will Smith, he has like a wide like spectrum of movies and genres and roles that he's done.
But do
But
you
like
like that when you can tell that it's them in every role,
I
or
mean,
do you like it better when it's like a Gary Oldman type where you
oh
like
yeah,
you don't even know that's them? You're like, holy
yeah,
crap, that was Gary
yeah.
Oldman. You know, like I don't
I
know how many times I've seen a movie that
yeah,
happens, but
I can see why people would like that, and I can also see why people wouldn't like that. Um, I would say like 60-40. Maybe for me, like I kind of like that because it's part of their now it's now part of their catalog. It shows you like they as long as they do a good job. I feel like as long as they do the well role, then I mean, as long as they do the role well, then it's like
yeah.
it's cool. If someone is typecasted usually and then they try something else and they totally like flop, then I'm like, okay, maybe 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 this wasn't the role for you. I can see like why though, like people would be like, oh, like you can't get away from what you're known for. I can see like that's the argument people would make. But for the most part, I'd be like yo, yeah, that's Will Smith. Or like, oh, he did that really well, but that's Will Smith. Like he put his own
Mm-hmm.
twist on it, whether it was intentional or not. Like even when he voice acted for like Shark Tale,
Shark
like when he was
Tales.
like the fish, Oscar. Like I can close my eyes. I'm like, bro, this is Will Smith. Or like that most recent one he did where he was a spy and Tom Holland was like a kid. I was like, oh yeah, this is Will Smith. Something about it, just yeah. I would say for the most part, I enjoy it. I can see why like
Mhm.
actors wouldn't want that though, just so they don't get like boxed and stereotyped. But I
Because
guess
it kind of feels to me like like Brad Pitt, like he's been doing like Brad Pitt like roles his whole life. Just kind of the recent kind of acting he's been doing. It's like he's trying to like almost kind of shed that image, not be that
yeah,
pretty boy like the face of the movie.
it's hard though. It's Brad Pitt. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know like the most recent thing he did though. I can like I think the last thing I seen him in was maybe
Once
Fury.
Upon a Time.
Oh, okay, yeah, see.
You, you didn't see Once Upon a Time?
No, I don't think so.
What?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Oh man, you gotta watch that movie, man.
I will. Bro, I'm a movie junkie. I'll
You gotta
catch.
watch it for the because there's the controversial Bruce Lee scene in there.
Oh, that's what that movie is, where people like hated the depiction of Bruce Lee in that movie. I
Yeah,
remember like there was a
it
big
made him
talk
kind of
about
look
it.
silly. It
Uh,
made him look kind of pompous and not stupid, but like just cocky and
ignorant and stereotypical, like
yeah.
overblown. I guess, or even like Mark Wahlberg. Like when I see Mark Wahlberg in anything, I'm like, bro, that's Mark Wahlberg. Like I don't know. I think it's there because I've seen him like get serious, and
Mhm.
then there's the times where he's like, it's
Other
just it's
guys.
hard for the other guys with Will Ferrell. Like, bro, like there's never like a like a second in that movie where I'm not like making some kind of weird smirking or laughter type of face. Like, and
That
then
jump from the bushes scene is like my favorite, like
oh
probably one of my favorite scenes of
with
all time.
with the Rock and Samuel Jackson,
Yeah.
bro. That okay. Like I have so many friends that I can go back and forth with quotables from this movie from, and we'll have a whole conversation.
Yeah.
Send each other memes. But I feel like it's one of those movies like you have to have that dry humor to like really enjoy it. Otherwise, you'll just be like, oh, what the
Uh-huh.
heck? Like that was stupid. Like you have to have that dry humor to get it. Like, because it's Will Ferrell. Like the way he comes off sometimes is like you have to like, you know what I mean? Like it's not for everybody. But if you can understand it and appreciate it, dude, it's hilarious. like the
Dirty Mike and the boys.
yeah, soup kitchen, or like the sound of your piss hitting the urinal. It sounds feminine. Like what? Yeah, like I don't know. It's so crazy too that Mark Wahlberg came from like he was Marky Mark. Like he was the
Yeah,
Calvin Klein rapper model. Like
rapper with the abs.
yeah, he was the first Justin Bieber with the Calvin Klein thing.
Oh man.
But,
Hopefully Bieber doesn't do acting.
you know,
he doesn't need to. He's
yeah.
too rich already. He's good.
I like that though. Like when I see there's been a few music artists that have done it successfully, and I feel like Jordan Lucas is probably one of them who's gonna go next because the effort they put into the music videos and like the cut scenes but like there's been a few artists that like from their music videos and like the effort that have transitioned into acting that have done it. Like I've seen them in a few things that have done it pretty well. Like like people hate sometimes, but like when Chris Brown is in movies, even if it's minor, it's not terrible because
What's he in?
Oh, like it's like it's his type of genre. It's like the hip hop, the dancing movies or stuff like that, or like him and T.I. in Takers. If you've seen Takers and stuff like that, or like 50 Cent, stuff like that. Like, or even like I know Luda only had like his Fast and Furious franchise, but stuff like that. I appreciate that. Like when people are able to like juggle, because those are people who don't have regular music videos. Like they have those intros and the scene in the middle, or they're just acting, and then it's like to see them on film without the song and they're actually like acting. It's like some of them actually pull it off pretty well. Like I seen like 50 Cent in Den of Thieves, with like Gerard Butler, Max Holloway.
Oh, I love that movie, man.
Bro, that scene where he like pulled his prom daughter's date into the garage and had all the Samoans and all the guys like,
yeah,
like, hey, bring my daughter home, and he's like, yes, like you know what I mean, like like that was believable. If I didn't know 50 as an actor, I would, as an artist, I would think like, he played that role like really well because it's probably not even acting for him. It's probably like a natural thing to do that. So, but yeah, and for just to like not just to switch gears a little bit. Like, so you're like, for people who don't know, I know obviously there's always talk about that, but like you're a huge like mixed martial arts nerd. Like
you're a little bit. I don't know about a nerd.
No, you're a nerd, bro. Like you're like me, bro. Like we're deep in it. Like we're not like casual. Like that term casual fans is thrown around so much, but like you're really, yeah. Like I can talk with you. Like like history too, like pride stuff. It's not like. It's hard to talk to people who are MMA fans who are like post Conor Rousey. You know what I mean? It's hard. No disrespect, but it's just like when you have people who know.
It's all hype era, man. It's like everything Conor and after is all hype era.
Yeah. That's why I appreciate when I can actually speak martial arts to other people. But it's like, yeah, like this week, dude, it's like Tony Ferguson fight week, and he's fighting Charles Oliveira. To me, that's such a crazy matchup because, to quote Mike Goldberg, it's virtually identical. Like first of all, they almost look alike. Secondly,
yeah.
Yeah, like I would think they're cousins or something. Maybe
they get the same fade. They look like they're like cousins or something.
Yeah. Man. And then also just stylistically, like even body type wise, like long, lanky, unorthodox striking, especially because Charles' striking is like starting to improve because he was strictly a ground guy before. And then just slick on the ground. So I really don't know how it's gonna go because that's the only fight really. I respect Figueiredo, but this is the fight that I care about this weekend.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if this is gonna go up before then. Hopefully, but like, I really don't know because I just feel like I think it might go decision because they just cancel each other out because their skill sets are so evenly matched and similar.
You think it might go like Jones Gustafsson, just a 3-round war? It's not a championship fight, but just because they have like
yeah,
similar fight styles. I was just thinking because Gustafsson was like the first fighter who had like a similar body
Yeah.
type to Jones.
True.
So it just kind of ended up being a war.
True.
So
I don't know. I'd really.
it might end up not going to the ground because
Yeah.
both guys kind of wanted to go to the ground.
hmm
It might
But
just be a stand up.
But what I noticed from Tony is, if it's not an Imanari roll, he typically doesn't shoot.
He doesn't
try
shoot.
to get it to the ground. It ends up on the ground, and he finishes dudes on the ground because they're hurt or they're panic shooting or they're tired, or like they try to shoot on him because they're hurt or tired, or like they're trapped and don't know what to do. They're stuck in the corner, and so I don't
Kind of like Frank Mir, huh? Like this, like I don't ever really remember Frank Mir shooting in usually.
Yeah, true.
I feel like pull guard, if anything.
Yeah, seeing a heavyweight pull guard, or even like no, never mind. I've seen Verdum like go for trips and throws, but like, yeah, like with Tony and even Frank Mir, like there's two people who like majority or a lot of their finishes come from the ground, but they hardly initiate it. It's like they have it in their back pocket and they know that if they need to, they can just whip it out. But it's like, I'm just gonna bust you up standing on the feet first.
Yeah.
Then if it gets there, then I got you. But it's Charles Oliveira. This is that's his forte. He's gotten better striking over the years, but that's his thing, is the ground. So
I'm hoping Ferguson wins, only because there's this frame of thought that I'm following that he'll be able to bring Khabib back.
Because Khabib said, if I want like my legacy to be complete, I have to fight Tony.
He has to fight Tony.
He said recently, like, the damage he took in the Gaethje fight, and he's getting up there in age. It's not the same, which is understandable, and I respect that. But it's just having the name on the resume, like what you guys were doing to the division in the years that you guys were competing. How did you not run into each other? You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those unanswered questions, because they fought everyone else. Khabib fought everybody. Tony fought everybody except each other. It's like, that one too, I'm still intrigued in, because it's like
it has to happen.
Like what we're talking about, like Tony never goes for the takedown. It's all typically, it's because.
Well, what's the likelihood that Tony can clear out the lightweight division and then fight Khabib?
I feel like
heavy hitters now, because they got Chandler, you got Poirier, you got Gaethje to worry about still.
I feel like, oh man,
Nuggets.
I feel like he could. I feel like he still can, because even though he's like 36, 37 or whatever, I feel like it's Tony. So I feel like he could. It's just that besides him and Khabib, majority of the lightweights are strikers, right? And they're like heavy hitters, like Poirier, Conor. I feel like Gaethje kind of laid the blueprint of how to fight Tony. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So although I feel like Tony definitely could do what Tony does and like get back on the mountain to the top and call out Khabib again and drag him out of retirement.
How many 5-rounders do you think he has left in him?
Oh no, that's not an issue. My thing was like, I feel like Tony, he'll probably fight till he's 40. Yeah, I just feel like I don't think him stopping or him like stopping because of health issues is a thing, because it's Tony's a zombie. I feel like
he healed his leg. He healed his leg
on his own
in less than a year.
For the Pettis one. That's not my issue. I feel like the issue is now people know how to fight him. You know what I mean? Now it's like, what's he gonna do? Because he's so unpredictable, bro. I bet you he like surprises himself. Like like when he throws sand at you. Like, you know what I want to see that I feel like could have happened a while ago that should, just stylistically, is any Diaz brother and Tony. Have a California Mexican boxer jiu-jitsu matchup. Although like no one talks about that. Like the striking and the cardio and the jiu-jitsu is like pretty like up to like similar. It's just I feel like it would get stopped because of all the scar tissue that Diaz brothers have and then Tony's elbows. That might stop.
Do you really think Nate's gonna fight anybody besides Conor before he stops fighting?
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
How come he hasn't been fighting though? Like.
Yeah, true. I think he's just bored. He's like that. He just does whatever, whenever. which is like, all respect to him. You got money like that, and
Yeah,
you got a star power like that. Yeah, go ahead. Because I feel like although it doesn't make sense, and although I don't want to see it, they could run it back with Jorge, fight Connor again. He was supposed to fight Dustin.
he shouldn't fight Jorge again. That was a
No, he shouldn't. It's gonna be the same way. I feel like, but people would still pay for it. Like I don't want to see it again, but it could happen again because I know people want to.
I want Jorge to get a full training camp and then fight Usman again.
Me too, dude. 5 days. I mean, I know. Granted, yeah, of course he's been training the whole time, but still, yeah,
Dude, he's acting like he's eating pizza and stuff, and I was like, dude, you're not eating anything. You're just dieting and like running right now.
Regardless of the outcome, like you have to respect what he did. In 5 days,
came
I believe it's
he
5.
showed up.
And he flew all the way around the world on 5 days, like, and then he didn't get finished. So it's like, But then again, when's the last time we've seen Kamaru finish somebody? Besides Kobe,
Yeah.
Yeah, see? I don't hate Kamaru. Like, I appreciate that style because it's irritating, and to like, quote unquote, to the casuals, it could be really boring. But it's like, he's fighting, do something about it then. Like, if you don't like it, do something about it. So it's like
GSP,
you can't hate it. Nah, I think GSP is way more entertaining though. Even though people think his performances are stale, like GSP finishes people he has more than Kamaru, and then his striking.
He's always trying to finish them.
Yeah, he wasn't. I feel like what people hate about Kamaru is like they feel like he's stalling. Like even though GSP's fights could get stale, you could tell he's trying to work for something. He's not just coasting. And then also like GSP's striking is way more entertaining. So it's like, like it's, and then GSP is multi-dimensional. I feel like Kamaru, that's his thing. It's just with Kobe, like when you have two ground guys, like the ground gets canceled out because they just end up striking. But with George, like he literally could just choose. Like you pick your poison with him. Like his jab or like his striking creates a dilemma. It's like you worry about the striking, then he takes you down. When you're like twitching because you're ready to sprawl, he just starts head kicking you and like wheel kicking you and Superman punching you. So it's like with George, he presents like options, and it's like you just choose how you want to get hurt,
how you want to lose.
Yeah. And then most people they try and take him out, so that's why he ends up on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like honestly I feel like maybe I don't know about 65, but like if George ever fought Khabib, bro, we might see Khabib on his back. And I mean apparently he's good on his back. I wouldn't doubt if he try and go Gaethje, but
two submissions. He went for an armbar and a triangle.
Dude, did you see that thing that Khabib said? Like he was hearing all week about how Gaethje was, so close to his parents. He flew out his parents. They never miss a fight. He's so close to them, and they were there cage side. So he had armbar, and he knew Gaethje is not. He was saying all week he's not gonna quit. He'd rather die in there. So he didn't want to break his arm in front of Gaethje's parents. So he just put him to sleep and choked him out because he knew Gaethje wasn't gonna tap if he went armbar. Like what?
Like, I can see that.
I believe too. Khabib's a really nice guy. That's so crazy. No, because you have a guy who's saying like, "But I'd rather die in there." I'm not gonna tap. Like, oh, I don't.
He's for real too, man. He's
I believe Gaethje too. So,
of all the fighters in the UFC, he's one of the few people I actually believe when he says he's willing to die.
Yeah, I mean, like recently he's trying to change his like whole image of, he wants to be more. He wants the championship. He wants to be more precise. But I also still believe him every time he said, like, I just want to go in there, create a car crash, and see who's left standing. Like, that's why he has all those finishes in that record. And it's like, but it's crazy because he's like that. That's why Khabib got him to be like that, because Khabib was the one pressuring him. And he didn't look like he's comfortable throwing on the back foot. He wasn't able to plant and swing hard, and then his punches were labored because he's always just getting ready to sprawl if Khabib shot. So it's like we weren't really seeing you fight like Gaethje because he was scared of the takedown.
His stance was lower too because he was just ready for that shot, So it did take away, but he did rip a few leg kicks on Khabib. I wonder what that felt like,
I don't know, bro. Those Russians are crazy. I don't think Khabib probably just scratched it.
Didn't feel anything.
And then I'm
How
excited
do you
for. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
how do you feel about you all getting cut from the UFC?
I'm gonna miss him for sure. I understand why Bellator and PFL them are not like super excited to pick him up, or I'm not. I'm not. I'm.
Why
I am.
not?
I am surprised, but I'm not surprised. I feel like they're just trying to get away from the whole signing, not washed, but like aging UFC fighters, and they want to get away from that stereotype and that stigma. Like they just pick up like people on their way out. That's their roster. Which, to be fair, like that, they started with that formula, and that's why they got the name recognition because they picked up old UFC fighters who had name recognition. So that's like they can't deny that that's how they got notoriety. But I feel like they're at a place now where they don't need to do that, and maybe they
Mhm.
shouldn't. Like,
Can you just imagine seeing like a TRT Vitor fighting Yoel Romero?
that's what I'm saying.
Just like
That's what,
ripped and juicy, both of them, you know?
bro. That's what I'm saying. I know Vitor said a lot. Like Vitor's spoke a lot about having like a Legends League, bro. I'm all for it. After watching like the Tyson Roy Jones Jr. thing. I mean, there should be a limit. Like I don't want to see Ken Shamrock fight Hoist Gracie no more. But there should definitely be a limit. But for people who are still kind of there and who still got it, they just can't hang with the young guns no more. Bro, let them fight. Like create a league just for them. Because there's some people like they still have that fight in them. They still got that dog in them and that killer instinct. It's just they can't hang with the young guys no more because it's a young man's sport. But if you put them all together and just let them, you know, bro, like yeah, TRT Vitor versus Yoel Romero. What the heck? Or like
Okay, let's have fun right now. Let's create this old man's league, and let's create a champion for each belt level.
I don't know if they ever fought. I
We'll-
think they were teammates before, but I want to see Rampage Tito.
Rampage Tito for the heavyweight or light
Nah.
heavyweight?
Oh, I don't think they can make light heavyweight no more. Maybe Tito could.
Rampage can't anymore, man. He's locked. He's locked in the heavyweight
Bro.
division.
Yeah. Oh, if the dude wasn't made, like I love this guy and I respect him so much, but if Cain Velasquez like wasn't made of glass, I still want to see him fight like Alistair Overeem. That's a matchup I thought was gonna happen.
I don't. Is he made of glass? He just ate that little uppercut, shovel uppercut from.
No, but even before that, right?
Ngannou, man.
Even
Yeah.
before that, though, right? He was out a lot because of like back injuries and stuff. Like, dude, there's so much people like Kane's career. I feel like was cut short because of injuries. But there's so much people like I wanted to see him fight. Like I wanted to see him fight Stipe. I wanted to see Kane versus Alistair. Kane versus like Curtis Blades. Like, had he not been so injury prone and like damaged, dude, I guarantee he can hang with a bunch of them. Because Kane was a problem, dude.
Mm.
Like the reason I respect Kane so much is because I'm a Junior Dos Santos fan. You know what I mean? Like, which has been killing me lately.
I can't even watch his fights. Like his first fight, I can't watch because he gets knocked out so fast. But
hey, he was doing well against Rosenstruck. He just got caught.
Yeah.
He was doing good. Not gonna lie, but yeah.
But
Junior's been killing me lately.
I don't know. I just really want to see Alice there. He needs to fight for the belt, man. Because like
you know what
he's won every other belt. He deserves it. Steven should just let him fight again.
They should let Alistair, like, if he has, I mean, obviously, he still has to prove it because there's, otherwise, why are there rankings and there's politics in it? But, like, he should rematch Rosenstruck because
he was winning the fight up till he got.
Bro, he was winning 4 minutes. He was winning 4 rounds and 4 minutes of the fight. Yeah. Rosenstruck literally caught him at the end of the fight when, literally.
Anderson Silva style.
Yeah, like that, but they're a perfect example of that, like fantasy league. Even I want to see Yoel and Anderson. They're both killing it at 85 in their respective times. They're both.
I don't know.
They both fight at 185. I feel like Yoel would like hurt him, but
yeah. I don't want to see Yoel fight Anderson. It's like Rock fighting people.
Yeah, I guess. Bro, you know what kills me about people like Yoel and Kamaru and Tyron? And again, I think it's just casuals, but like I think MMA fans are some of the most toxic people on the planet. Like if you just read comments, and like
Mhm.
I guarantee like 97% of these people don't even train, because the ones who do are typically not the ones making these types of comments. But it's like
Yeah.
I understand, like for one example, like I understand the whole USADA thing, and I understand the whole cheating thing, and I'm all for that, and I'm so happy when people get caught. I'm so happy that it's introduced. I'm so happy that it's a thing because of the health. But for people who constantly rip people like Yoel or Kamaru or Tyron or Ngannou, I'm like, bro, there is such thing called genetics and working out. Like, if these guys haven't been popped yet, and USADA's already been around for years now,
Mhm.
maybe you need to put down the bag of chips and get off your keyboard and start like working out. Like, real, like not everybody who's jacked who fights is on steroids. Like they would have been caught then. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot who have been caught, but like for those who haven't been, bro, what if they've been working out their whole lives? What if they work out just as much as they train fighting skills? And what if they're just genetics or like like they would have been caught by now? So it's like I hate when I
Mhm.
see that like somebody or like Paulo Costa for example. Like I'm not like a super fan of him, but like I respect him and like bro, that's just good genetics. You figured a dude would have pissed hot by now, but he never. And people always putting the needle emojis. I'm like, bro, that's so crazy. Like, just go to the like, get off your butt, go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody's on steroids because they're huge or whatever. Like, I
I
don't know.
was a fan of his until after he lost, and then he just.
I liked him. I just didn't like how he reacted after.
I
I
don't
mean,
like how he reacted.
I
Yeah.
understand why I understand his initial reaction because of what Izzy did, but like afterwards, like after the weeks went by, he's getting more and more salty. Like, bro, just take that L.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Regardless of Izzy dry humped you or not, bro, he knocked you out, dog. Like,
Kind of like Deontay Wilder, man. Like, man, that guy's
yeah,
sad, man. Like,
just
just
stop.
accept the loss. You know, just take the L. Like, you got pieced up.
If you're gonna blame your costume that you walked out in, why did you walk out in it? And like, you've never made this excuse before when
Mhm.
you've always walked out in like extra stuff. Like, and he's
I've seen some videos though. I was watching some of those conspiracy videos, and like it shows Tyson Fury like grabbing his shorts, and like you can see his like his knuckles. So it's like, 'cause that was one of his complaints too, right? That he took
yeah, and he also said like
the
someone I think in his corner
the
like
water.
drug him. Like, you got pieced up,
Paranoia,
bro.
man. Yeah.
You got pieced up, bro. That's like Ben Askren saying like Jorge's knee had Vaseline on it, and or like Jorge had a head start. Like, like bro, just take the L, dude. Like when when Joshua got knocked out by Ruiz,
Mhm.
he just went back to work. They set up the second fight, and then he won. Like I feel like people make it worse for themselves, like with how they lose. That's what upsets me about Connor. That's why it's so hard to be a Connor fan. Because when he was on the up and up, dude, I was on the Connor train, and lately I just been the past couple years. I'm like, I lost so much respect for him. Like just the way he carries himself outside. I think it's the money and the whiskey and the alcohol and the lifestyle and the partying got to him. It's like he changed. He was so bushido, like martial, like samurai mentality, and then like
He was, yeah. He was before,
yeah,
and then
and then money and alcohol
the
and
Billy
fame
Walk
and all that.
came.
Yeah, and then I hate how he'll one minute he'll be like, "Oh, rest in peace to Khabib's dad," and then after, "Oh, it wasn't even COVID that mug rat." Like what? Like bro, that's like fake humility and fake sincerity. I'm like, dude, don't even. That's why like I feel
It's
like
weird. It's weird. I was just watching a documentary, and they're talking about Twitter and how like if you have a Twitter and you so like if so like Connor's Twitter, he pretty much kayfabes constantly. So like when he does post something genuine, like rest in peace to Khabib's dad, it just feels really disingenuous because the other stuff, the other content that you see from his Twitter page is always talking crap. So it's like this,
mm,
what do you believe, right? Like what is actually coming from him, and what is him doing his Conor McGregor character, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, bro, like pick a like Jorge always says that about Kamara before, like there's multiple personalities and you know, just pick one. Like if I respect you so much more. Like if you hate somebody, hate them.
Mhm.
Make it known, make it public. Unless you guys
Yeah.
unless you guys genuinely make up and make it public and it stays like that. If you're gonna
Mhm.
hate somebody, hate them and just keep it that way. Like Kamaru says, like bro, keep that same energy. You know, like don't 1 second give me your condolences because my dad passed, and then talk crap about me like the next week, like say that I'm scared or I'm ducking you. That's why I retired. Like when he's talking about to Khabib, I'm like, and I feel like
Because that's the kayfabe again, you know. That's him
yeah,
trying to generate hype.
and it's not
So it just
his.
makes his other posts just it doesn't. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, like what's going on, you know?
Yeah, totally. And it's not his fault. Like he does what he has to do to make money, and all respect to him for that. But like he's turned a lot of people, like casual fans and fans, like that. You know, like
Mhm.
the way they treat and talk about other athletes and other fighters. It's like, bro, you've never even trained a day in your life. You probably never even been in a fight in your life, and it's like you then like there's some comments I read or like bro, it's crazy. Like I feel like that's what that era did. Like he made it like WWE. Like there's so much people talking like him and hating on other fighters for no reason.
Mhm.
It's because they're like so in love with Connor. Like if you use that platform to like stay Bushido about, that's why like they always say like, you know, like the martial arts aspect is gone from mixed martial arts. You know, there's fighters and there's martial artists. Like I like the era that he brought because it's entertainment. I'm not gonna lie, of course it's hilarious, like the trash talk. But I just feel like when it's not real, then it's like, eh. Like if they're talking crap for months and like I'll enjoy it. It's entertainment. I'll buy it. It's hilarious and I'll watch every video. I'll retweet everything if it's real. But if it's like fake and like nah, I rather just have like the old days, like when GSP and Anderson were champs. Like okay, who's next? Boom, nah, take them down. Who's next? Take them down. Not like you talk crap. You're ranked number 15 now. You're fighting for the belt. Like you skipped everybody. Like what? What was the rankings
Mhm.
for then? Just because you had something funny to say when you called him out? Like yeah. So I don't know. I don't want to say he ruined it because obviously the UFC is more known now, but like just the martial arts aspect of it, I kind of miss, if that makes sense.
On his road to riches, he tainted the sacredness of martial arts within the UFC. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, as Khabib said it, for, like martial arts, the first things that you learn is humility and respect.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I don't care if it's like karate or wrestling or boxing or taekwondo or muay thai, like jiu-jitsu, like humility and respect. Like that's why you train. Or like, you know, and of course like as with the prize fighters and you know with like their star power and everything,
Because
you
that's
can
what you
still
learn on the
maintain
mat.
that.
You know, you
Yeah.
learn humility and respect on the mat.
No, what blows my mind is like you can get choked out in front of millions and still talk crap. Like you figure you'd be quiet
Mhm.
after that. Like him and Kobe, bro. I've never witnessed people like lose to the masses badly like they have, and then still. I mean, Connor had like a moment of like reflection where he explains why he lost, but it's still like, bro, okay, just take the L though. And then Kobe, he never stopped. Like, bro, I've never seen that ever. Like, you
See, that's the
still
thing.
going.
I think when Connor initially loses, that's actually him. That humility
Like
that he
right there,
shows.
right when it happened.
That's him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe it
Everything
too.
else that comes afterwards when he talks crap, that's all him just trying to hype, you know,
Or like
get that hype
justify it.
train going again.
Because I believe it. Like when he lost to Nate the first time and he was talking about, you know, I made errors. Nate was efficient here with his energy and I wasn't. Um, I took a risk, didn't pay off. It happens. I'll take it on the chin like a man. Bro, I was like, bro, I respect that so much. And then afterwards is like, I don't know. I was like, what happened to that, you know? But I mean, dude's rich, and it came from That's the thing though. That's what separated Connor from everyone else who tried to follow that mold. Connor backed it up a lot because he would talk a lot, but he was sleeping people. You know, like
Well, what was that interview with when Dominic Cruz was that the one when he lost to Cody Garbrandt and then he was doing that interview afterwards?
where he was
Like,
standing the whole time.
yeah,
Yeah, the post press
sunglasses
conference.
on.
Yeah,
Oh man, that's one of my favorite like losing like interviews. You know, he was just
he's like so amped
he
up
gets
to
it.
go again. Yeah, and I like Dom, but yeah, the Ronda Rousey one was like that was like the total like polar opposite. I felt so bad. I genuinely felt bad for her when
Yeah,
she was talking about like she wanted to like take her own, like she didn't want to live no more. Like that's like fighting was all she knew. I was like, oh man,
that's kind of
maybe
how
she
she like
retired.
entered the ring every time though. Like she's like just the ultimate competitor. You know, just mean mugging like.
Yeah,
Her and Diego Sanchez, like I believe they're mean mugs, you know. Like she's really going in there to
Rampage. I believe
hard.
Rampage.
Rampage.
Hey, what?
Except when he knocked out Vanderlei for that last time, you know,
He
or
was
that the
smiling,
second or yeah.
but he was smiling because Vanderlei pushed him.
Yeah.
Oh, like, since we're on that, what are some of your most favorite like stare downs?
Um. Oh man. Conor Khabib was fun. Um.
Give me like 10. I know you
Man,
got
I don't
10.
even know.
I know
I can't
you
even
got
think
10,
of
bro.
10.
I know you got
I
10.
can't even think of 10. I don't know. I think the great stare downs are also just great rivalries, you know, like TJ and Dominic, and you know Dominic and Uriah and
I'm talking about
Diego
stare downs at the
Sanchez
weigh-ins kind, or even before
against
the fight. Yeah.
anybody. Oh,
Yeah.
weigh-ins! I hardly ever watch weigh-ins, man. I usually
No, but you
fast
see
forward
them.
through them.
Oh, I get you. You see the stare downs though. Like for me, like Henderson Silva and Vitor Belfort, when he had the Jabberwocky mask and he took it off and they got super close. Or like
Daniel Cormier, John Jones.
yeah. Or like what is that? Like Clay Guida and Diego Sanchez. Dude, they're just
That
like
was a fun one.
there's like two pit bulls on a leash, just like let them go. Or like even like Max and Brian, like I like that one because it was super intense but respectful. Like they didn't get all in each other's face, but bro, you could feel the tension. Like bro, these boys are gonna scrap tomorrow. Like
I think my favorite is Chael Sonnen and Anderson Shoulder. That's probably
oh
my favorite one.
yeah. You know what I love about Chael? Like I didn't really care for him much as a when he was fighting, but like everything he does outside of that, I appreciate him a lot.
I watch his YouTube videos like all the
So
time,
do I.
man. Like I think he's entertaining, man. Like
He is. Like there's
him
just
and Luke
people
Thomas are probably my two favorite analysts, maybe.
I love Daniel Cormier. I think Daniel Cormier is great. Like there's just certain people like him and Chael, and then I like that we're hitting a point now where like the sport's growing, so that former fighters could take these roles as commentators, as refs, even as like fight
Yeah, who's
analysts.
that fighter that turned to a ref?
Frank Trigg.
Yeah, Frank Trigg.
Yeah, I know there's a few more, but like yeah, like I like now that like when you turn on like the analyst portion of the show, it's former fighters or you know what I'm saying. Like I love that because like now you get a more not to disrespect anyone before, but like you get a more educated and personal experience when they break down what happened or what's gonna happen. You know, like I like when Bisping commentates. I love when Daniel Cormier commentates. You know, it's
Dominic
hilarious when
Cruz is great
Cruz.
too, man. Because
He's funny when he butts heads with Joe, where he's like, I think he's trying to gas out Khabib. He's like, no, I think he's getting punched in the face.
He had it wrong that one time, but for the most part, he's pretty intelligent about the stuff he's talking about.
Mm, yeah. Or like as for I
He's
mean,
he's one of my favorite fighters, honestly. So like getting to hear him like talk about what he sees happening in front of him is interesting.
yeah. Or somebody who doesn't necessarily commentate, but like they break down fights on their own podcast and stuff now. Like as much hate as he gets, I like Brendan Schaub. I watch all his food truck diaries. Well, not all, but like most of them, because he has good
You know,
guests.
honestly, I kind of stopped being a fan of his because of like his how he just didn't really follow the COVID stuff. I was like
Oh yeah, he still did the food
everything
truck.
that was going down, and like he's like dismissing it all the time. Like I kind of
Mm.
stopped following him because of that.
Oh, you mean like when he was doing his food truck diaries, he's still meeting up with the people and stuff?
Oh no, like just because of how he's handled just all of
Oh,
the
I
whole
see, I see.
COVID and everything, and how like people got sick at his shows and stuff, and like I
Oh,
don't
did
know,
they really?
like yeah,
Oh,
or
I didn't know
like
that.
they got sick at their him and Brian Callen got sick.
Hmm, I didn't know that. I think one of the best. I mean, I don't understand where the hate comes from, but I enjoy it. Like like I said, like some of the most toxic people on earth are MMA fans. But bro, some of the most funniest comments I've ever read are from like MMA posts. Like I remember like
Oh yeah, I crack up, man.
bro, I laughed so hard. I remember like one comment I seen on one of Brendan's videos. Like someone said like I don't know which stand up was worse, his fighting stand up or his comedy stand up. Bro, I was like losing it. I was like dying so hard. And then there was one too where like I think Brendan had a food truck diaries with like Karate Hottie with Michelle Watterson. And then someone
Mhm.
commented like, oh, just two girls casually going out for lunch or something like that. Or like Brenda wearing those tight shirts again. Oh, that hilarious, bro. Like when we were in that Tony the type of dude era, that was the new Chuck Norris, you know? I lived
Mhm.
for those comments. Every time I watch a YouTube video, embedded, post conference, press conference, I go straight to the comments. I actually posted one that got a lot of like it got like 1,600 likes one time. So you know how like
Yeah,
before the main events or before like the fights, they'll post free fights
yeah.
of past wins of the people competing. It was I think TJ was fighting Henry, and
Mhm.
then like they uploaded TJ versus Cody, and then I commented Tony Ferguson, the type of guy to warn the referee about his shots to the back of his opponent's heads. And then, bro, like I checked in an hour and it had like almost 2,000 likes. I was like,
Nice, man.
do you have a favorite Tony, the type of dude joke?
Uh, no.
You know what's funny is like he just has that personality where like, bro, I would totally believe all of this.
Yeah.
Like Tony, the type of guy to break up with to divorce his wife to condition his feelings or something like something stupid like that, or or like what's the one? I was like Tony, the type of guy to knock on your door with a spinning back elbow. Something
Because
stupid like that.
he trains by himself, right?
Yeah, that's
Does
the
he have a
crazy
training?
part.
Does he have a camp? Like he does 10th Planet,
Yeah, he
but like
does.
what else does he do?
I
Just
know he
goes
does,
out into the woods.
bro. Like from what I hear, like Eddie Bravo and talk. I know he does jits at 10th Planet, but like everything else is kind of he has his like crew. It's all in house. They just do their own thing.
Damn, man.
Because at least Stipe, he has a gym. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
strong style, like in Ohio. Like there's a name of the camp. There's a name of the gym. Tony's just like
Yeah.
literally like his close circle, and they just kind of like Valentino, the Shevchenko sisters. They have their
Mm-hmm.
own little circle. They just kind of do whatever. But I feel like that works though, because you know when you're part of a mega gym and there's all this talent, like maybe you don't get the specific help or work that you should because they have to spread it out, and the coaches are like running
Mm-hmm.
dry, you know. So I feel like that's good. And I mean, like if it ain't broken, don't fix it. And for the most part, up until the Gaethje fight, dude, nobody could solve the Tony puzzle. So it's like, yeah, I hope he does well again this weekend because like I like Charles. You know, I like Charles. I'm not a huge fan, but I like the dude. But I really hope Tony wins, man. Just because it's Tony.
It's this is like Charles Oliveira's like this is like kind of his first taste of like the upper echelon. Like
Mm.
I just I just want to see Tony win, and I want to see him because all the fights at the top right now that he hasn't fought are all great fights, man. And like I want to see him fight all of them. So
Yeah. Like I want exactly, because if Charles wins, Charles is in there. But if Tony wins, you can kind of know where he's gonna go next based on the landscape. Like him versus Dustin, they were trying to make happen. That would have been great. Him versus Connor still yet.
him and Chandler was the
Yeah.
rumors for a while, and then that went away.
They should give Chandler Dan Hooker. See, like the top 7, I would say at lightweight, you can just Grand Prix and rotate all of them. Like now that Khabib's kind of gone, you can just because you got Tony. I mean, you got Dustin and Connor in January.
Oh man, the lightweight division's so stacked. It's just like
Exactly. I would do like
animal fights, man.
Since you got Poirier and Connor in January, and you got Tony and Charles this weekend. I would do like Gaethje and like Hooker, and then
because Hooker was calling out Gaethje, right?
Yeah, or like Gaethje and Chandler. You know what I mean?
Gaethje Chandler would be great.
Yeah.
Oh man, it'd be so fun.
Because with Chandler, he's been in Bellator pretty much his whole career, but Gaethje came over from like when it was called World Series of Fighting, right?
Yeah.
And then like
the blue mat.
Yeah, and then he kind of came over, and then he fought everybody real quick. I remember like when he lost to Dustin, when Dustin was like on his run.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time. Did he lose to Dustin or Eddie first? He lost to Eddie first.
He lost to Eddie first, and then he lost to Dustin afterwards.
But bro, like think about it. He came over, and then he was on a streak, and the people he lost to was like a former champ and a top contender. Other than that, and then obviously now Khabib, but other than that, dude hasn't even been like hurt or like besides when Michael Johnson like was rocking him, but even that he finished him, so it's like yeah. I just can't wait to see like how it unfolds because there's rumors that Khabib comes back, but if he comes back just to make it a 30-0, or if he's going for that, I rather see Tony than GSP.
Yeah.
You know, as a purist, as an MMA purist fan.
Yeah.
Like not about the money, not about the clout, not about like we're talking about legacy and being a purist.
Will Dana make that fight though? Because like GSP's not gonna defend that belt, so it's just gonna create another chasm in that division if he ever fought for the lightweight title. No,
because first of all, I don't even think GSP would go to 55. I don't think he can anymore physically. Like he literally cannot. I don't think he wants to. I don't think he should. And I don't think
so. It'd be like a catch weight. You'd be like 165.
Yeah, so even like that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care if it's for a belt. Like, if you want to see Khabib versus GSP, it's just for the matchup itself. But like, do we really want to see that? Like, GSP is like pushing 40, and he hasn't like
moved Khabib and GSP to the old man league.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't want to see that. As a huge George fan, like I don't want to see that, bro. Maybe a few years ago when George was trying to make it happen, like not anymore though. I mean, I definitely still think GSP has a chance, and I feel like we might see Khabib lose. But like, it's just as time goes on, I want to see it less and less and less. Just for a straight up legacy thing in terms of 155. Like, Khabib has to fight Tony. I don't care if Tony's like, that one's an exception. I don't care if Tony's 40. Like, just because of what they were, bro. Like,
GSP has nothing to prove, man.
No, he doesn't.
So like, him fighting Khabib would just be for his own enjoyment,
and for money. No, but it's just the fact, like, what Khabib and Tony were doing to that division individually. How did they not meet up? I was like, I don't care if Dana has to book it 7-8 times, bro. I'll watch it as long as it happens.
Exactly, man. Like, everyone's down for this fight. So if Khabib comes back, that'd be it's a dream fight. So how do you feel about Logan Paul and Floyd Money Mayweather?
I think it's stupid. Of course I'm gonna watch it, but I'm like, why? I mean, whatever. Like, it's entertainment. It's celebrities. They can do what they want. I'm still gonna watch it. I'll probably enjoy it, but
people thought Money was making a mockery of boxing when he fought Conor, but this is slap in the face, man. To like to boxing, just boxing in general, just like
because
you're gonna fight someone who's 0-2. Sorry.
I mean,
okay.
if anybody can make these types of moves, yeah, it's Floyd. Because like he's on the end of his like tail end of his career, so he can do whatever he wants. But like, there's so much matchups that they should make, like Joshua and Fury, or like Crawford and Spence. But like, I get why they're doing this, but I'm like, man, I don't know. Even like when Jake Paul, after he knocked out Nate Robinson, he was calling out Connor and Dennis. Like, okay, in boxing,
no, man, undercard Jake Paul Lomachenko, man.
No, see, like I feel like Jake Paul, he in boxing, I feel like Jake Paul probably would knock out Dennis. But like, dude, Connor would sleep him. Secondly, like, why are you calling on MMA fighters to come to boxing? If you're gonna do boxing, call out boxers then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna be a YouTube celebrity and try to keep dabbling into boxing and where you're making money, why are you trying to get MMA fighters to come over here? Call out the boxers then. Call out the up and up like boxers who are on their way up. Like, that's so stupid to me. Like, but I get it. It's business, and they're gonna make like hella money off it. So good on them, I guess. But yeah, it is a slap in the face of like all the boxer purists who are trying to come up and make a name for themselves and who deserve big fights or blah blah blah. I agree. So yeah. Hey man, before I let you go, I don't want to keep you too long. Before I let you go, give me your let's do 5 of each. So top 5 fights you're excited for and top 5 fights you wish they would make.
Oh man. Catch me off guard. Top 5 fights I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, let's start with that.
Jeez, I don't even know any fights coming up, honestly.
Oh, I mean, okay. So I guess
is he against anybody?
True. True.
I don't know. I'm not really looking forward to the Conor Poirier fight. I'm sure I'll get hyped once it comes around, but
it's just because the embeddeds haven't dropped yet. That's why the countdown hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. They didn't do the countdown. I don't know who I'll take in that fight, honestly.
I hope Dustin wins. I feel like Conor could
I feel like Poirier got the heavier hands now.
Yeah. They're fighting at 55, right? It does.
Yeah, they're fighting at 55.
It better be, because if they're fighting at 70, it doesn't make sense for that winner to fight for the belt.
But Conor finished freaking what's the name of his shoulder? Cerrone. I don't know. Like top 5 fights. Who's Francis fighting coming up?
Isn't it in March?
Is it in March?
Yeah, I believe so. That's what they're.
Did they set it?
Yeah, I read March somewhere. I don't know if anything's changed since.
Okay. Looking forward to that fight. That first fight had sweaty hands the whole time, man. Just seeing
after the second round, I knew Francis he no more juice already for knock him out.
Still get a little bit juice,
No, for sure, but like Stipe's not gonna like gas and start like being sloppy, and if he does, he's just gonna take you down.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a fun fight. TJ's coming back too, right? TJ's return fight.
Who do you want to see him fight though? I want to see him. I mean, as a comeback fight, I want to see him fight like a Moraes or
Garbrandt.
Nah, I don't want to see that. I don't know. To be honest, I don't really care for the dude no more. Like, I never really did. And then after you cheat, like, bro, EPO is like black belt level drugs. Like, there's no way. Yeah. There's no way you could accidentally take that. You can't take it in a tainted supplement or food or accidentally like you.
Who knows how long he was taking it too?
Yeah, like you do it by injection, so you have to intentionally do it. There's no way to accidentally come across it. Like, don't really care for that.
Mhm.
Oh, since we're talking about 135, I'm excited for Chito and Aldo. Aldo's,
Chito Aldo's gonna be fun.
yeah.
Crazy how Aldo just can he's just can make 135, man. Like he had such a hard time making 45. It doesn't make sense, man.
Wonder Boy Neil. That should be a good one. Dude, that whole card is pretty. That's on the same card as that was like Leon Edwards and Khamzat was the main event. Wonder Boy Neil was the co-main, and then you had Aldo, Chito on the undercard. You had Rob Font and Marlon Moraes. I'm looking
Once Ryan Hall gets a fight, I'll be excited for that.
Dude, hey, Ryan Hall versus Chrome Gracie. How about that?
That'd be fantastic. I would love to watch that.
Of course, it's not gonna hit the ground, but I'm looking forward to what do you call that? Of course, like Tony Charles this week, Wonder Boy Neil, Chito Aldo, Max and Cater, bro. Holloway and Cater.
Max and Cater is gonna be a slugfest.
Man. I think Max is gonna melt him, but it's gonna be a good fight.
Cater got hands though, man.
He does. Bro, I think
it'll be a fun matchup.
If Max can eat Dustin shots at 55, he'll be fine.
Yeah. He was eating Dustin shots.
Right, he was eating his shots. He took a knee, and he was like still talking to Dustin. I was like, yeah, Max will be fine against Cater. No, fights that you want to see happen. Like you wish they'd match
GSP up. Silva in their prime. Miocic versus Fedor. Like prime Fedor.
Oh, if you're talking about like OG prime matchups, bro, Kane and Fedor.
Kane Fedor.
MVP Wonder Boy.
I want to see open weight TRT Tour versus Uberim.
I want to see Max and Tony.
Max and Tony would be fun,
bruh.
I'm sad we didn't get Max Khabib, but I'm also kind of glad we didn't see Max Khabib.
Same.
At the same time.
Me too.
I don't even know how that'll turn out, you know.
I agree. Just for like legacy now, especially that he's at 35. I want to see Frankie fight like Dominic Cruz or something, or Aldo fight Dominic Cruz.
Frankie Cruz, that'd be a fun fight.
You know what I mean? Dude, I don't even know. Oh, I want to see Whitaker and Costa.
Whitaker Costa.
Yeah, or like Costa and Till. You know what I mean? I don't even know who I want to see Izzy fight.
Yeah, I want to see Izzy fight everybody.
I don't even know who I wanted to fight. I feel like no one's gonna take that 85 belt for a long time, bro.
Well, I guess I'm looking forward to his fight against Jan, just because Jan he has freaking hammers for hands. So.
Oh yeah.
You know, he has a chance. Yeah. He has a puncher's chance against Izzy. But
yeah, we might
everyone's counting him out already. Yeah.
I want to see
the way he fought Costa was Jones Francis.
Yeah, bro. Heavyweight John Jones and Francis. Like Jones would probably just take him down, and Francis also just has to touch you, like, and then it's night, bro. Like,
that's like the thing people say about Francis for every fight. Like, he just has to touch him one time.
Mm-hmm. I think it would be different. So if they run it back, I want to see Lewis and Francis, or like Lewis and Rosenstruck.
I hope Francis is just practicing wrestling, just like the whole time. Like, he's not even boxing. Like, he's just like whatever videos that show him boxing. That's like the only time he's ever boxing. Like,
dude, that's so hilarious how he had that video with Mike Tyson where he was showing him like how to dip, slide to the side.
That was scary. That was scary, man.
So Tyson showing him all this like precision technique, and then I get Rosenstruck Francis just comes out and just like does any kind. You don't need technique when you can just touch somebody.
I need peekaboo style boxing.
No.
Who'd you think won the Jones and Tyson fight? How did you score it?
I thought Tyson won.
Or I kind of I give
I
to
mean,
Jones.
I see it's how you judge it too. I feel like Jones touched him more.
He was getting off the cleaner shots, I thought.
Yeah, the cleaner shots, but I thought the shots that had more behind it was from Tyson.
Oh, of course. 'Cause he
I
got
mean,
those
not
freaking.
just. I mean, of course, because it's Tyson, but like they meant more than just getting tap 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 tap.
Yeah, but the thing about Roy Jones is like all his knockouts, like they don't really kind of seem like knockout punches, you know.
Yeah,
That was part of his
yeah.
appeal as a
No, but that's like what it is in
was he
MMA,
four
right?
belt
Like what?
champion?
Yeah, but that's like judging in MMA. Like, what are you gonna score, right? Are you gonna score the guy
The
pressing
damage
the
or
damage
the
or the
yeah.
clean counters, but he's like on the back foot, so it seems like he's doing less, you know?
Mhm.
So it's like that's why it's hard to have judges. Like they should just have even the judges should just be former fighters. Like, yeah, it's hard.
I don't know why they're not. You know, like you think by now some of those retired fighters would like enter
Mm.
the referee.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
know,
Like I'm glad we're at
the judging ring.
yeah, true. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm glad we're at an era now where like it's been enough time where former fighters can be commentators and analysts and judges and and refs and coaches. But now I would like to see them be judges as well. But it's probably like a whole commission thing. I remember I was talking to Ed and he was telling me like these judges are literally commission. They're employees of the commission. They may have never watched a fight or thrown a punch in their life, but like that's their job. So it's like that's so crazy that your paycheck and your future as a fighter could be in the hand of somebody who doesn't even know what they're watching.
Yeah.
That's so crazy to me. Like, how is that a thing? But
Ugh. Yeah,
I
that
don't know.
sucks, man.
Yeah, like I don't know, dude. I just feel like for example, like it's not a sport where it's not a team sport, first of all, and it's not a sport where like you can easily just reassess like immediately after. Like your life and health is on the line. Like
Every fight, yeah.
every fight, even in the training camps, it's not like you lose and then you can go back watch the tape. Like no, after you lose, bro, you probably gotta get stitched up, go to the ER, make sure you're good, and recovery. And then it's not like there's no season, so it's like that's why I respect fighters the most in terms of athletes. Like there's no season. Like you could be in the holiday season, like right now when you're supposed to be having fun, going to meals with your family, and you gotta be starving yourself, cutting weight because you could get a phone call any second, and you to make your money to pay your bills to feed your family, you gotta fight. So it's like,
And then to follow up on that, like that's also what I love about fighting. Every time a fighter enters the ring, they're losing something. You know, like unless you're Jorge Masvidal and you just get a clean knee right off the bat, like you're losing, you know, you're losing your career as you're fighting. You know,
you
punch
take
by punch.
your life every war.
Yeah. So.
I mean,
Lucky
especially
Francis
for
Ngannou's
those.
not fighting himself.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, like Prime Kane versus Francis, I feel like would have been different. Or like even if DC fought Francis, because DC comes from that cloth that Kane does too. Like, I feel like at the time
DC didn't want to fight Francis when he was champ, though.
I feel like he could have though.
He's like, I don't want to fight him.
No, of course not. But I feel like he could have.
Yeah.
You know, just keep it clean, shell up, and then just really try to go for that takedown. It's DC. You know what I'm saying? Like he flipped Josh Barnett at heavyweight and Frank Mir and stuff like, bro. But yeah, I definitely see why he the height and reach is like crazy. So it's like
he disrespected Hendo, man.
Oh man, I felt like oh bro, that looked like a different weight class, dude.
He threw him around like a baby. I was like, this isn't even a fair fight, man.
You know when you're a kid and then you have like that action figure or like your sister's doll and you just like whack it around and hold it by the leg and
that's what it looked like.
On top of that, Hendo was like on his way out. He's like, it's worse because you're doing it to the older guy.
Yeah.
It's not like you're doing it to a guy in his prime. You're ragdolling an uncle like on his way out. It's like, oh that was horrible. But DC, I feel like when people have the conversation for like some of the best to do it, like you gotta start putting regardless of his last two losses to Stipe, he has to be in there. And the conversation
sure.
at least, you know? Like he
The
just went
people
up.
he beat, like,
Yeah, and the way he beat him and controlled him.
mhm,
Dude, honestly, like he
he's
could
gold
have got knocked
status.
out. He could have got knocked out from that Rumble head kick, but he shook it off and then he just pounded out Rumble after and choked him out. But
Cause
he
like
like
it's obvious how hard Rumble punches, and like he
mhm.
just ate all his shots, man. And, like he
Yeah,
went in and finished him, choked him out both times, man.
the same way. Bro, I'll never forget like what Joe Rogan say on their podcast, like when they heard Henry Hoof telling Rumble like don't quit, don't give up, or when you heard I forgot someone was he's telling Mariah or Mark Henry telling Mariah like think about your mother, what they did to get you here from like the third world country,
Mhm.
like that means they've seen him quit in practice. Like you don't ever
Yeah,
if you have no technical advice to shout out and you have to resort to don't quit, don't give up. It's like oh this is over. This is
yeah.
this
It's
is
over before it even started,
it's a
because
wrap.
they've quit before, you know.
Mm-hmm. Whether it's from that exact training camp or like previous ones or just practice in general, you've seen him quit and you know he's about to. That's why you're or you know like he doesn't have an answer, so you just gotta resort to don't give up, don't quit. Like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, there was a compilation video of those, and I was just like, oh, like when Moraes was fighting Henry Cejudo, and Mark Henry was like, don't quit, think about your mother. She had to fight her life to get here from Brazil. You had nothing. I was like, what the heck? Like, bro, you can't even give technical advice right now. Maybe that's something I mean, maybe some fighters get triggered that way, or like you tell them that in the corner, but not during the fight
Mhm.
where he's getting punched.
I know.
Like he's getting cracked, and you have him think about his starving mom who like had to give birth to him by himself on a bus in Brazil. Like, what?
Like,
But
coach, can you just coach me better right now,
I
please?
know for real.
I don't need to be hearing all this.
If I need that, go
Start
call my mom.
crying.
Go tell my mom to
Yeah,
come here from the stand.
like, coach, you're making me cry right now. I'm trying to fight.
But oh, dude, even I know UFC said they were gonna cut a bunch of people by the end of the year.
Mhm.
They cut Yol, and then Ostovich 2 is out, and then
That's the only
there's
two I
somebody else.
know.
Yeah, yeah, that's hard. I hope she doesn't do the Paige Van Zandt thing and goes to bare knuckle boxing. I'm like, oh, you should just go and be a model and an actress. Like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Just be a model, I think.
Or Bellator, I mean, if you're gonna keep
Yeah.
fighting, yeah, I get it. But like, see, that's where the not the double-edged sword, but that's where like the line is. I feel
What's her record in UFC? Did she
I don't
have
know, but
any
she was on a
wins?
yeah, but she was on a four-fight
Four
losing
losses,
streak.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, salty.
that's the thing.
It's that Clay Guido record, Phil Baroni record,
That's that Nate Diaz record,
and the Diaz record.
the Michael Johnson record, bro. Like when your losses pass like 13, 12, like, maybe
It's a blessing,
maybe
you know. It's a blessing.
it's that Artem record, the Artem
Yeah.
Lobov record. Artem is such a goat. He wants to match the number of wins and losses.
It's the lessons, man.
Did you see the Connor's thing after he fights Dustin wants to fight Manny?
That's Manny's gonna. He doesn't want to fight Manny.
No, he does not. He does not.
He wants to make that Manny money. He doesn't want to fight Manny.
No, he doesn't.
Manny's not gonna fight him the way Mayweather fought him.
That's my point.
Manny's gonna light him up from the start.
First of all, I respect Connor's like fighting ability, especially in his hands. But like, bro, Floyd could have done that, but Floyd like let him blow his wad and he let him come at him. And then when he was gassed, then he started to light up Connor. First of all, Connor doesn't even have good cardio to begin with. That's not his forte. He has that fast twitch muscle, that fast twitch like type of explosive muscle. But secondly, you're gonna gas out even quicker because Manny's gonna come at you. He's not gonna hang out and like let you do what you want like Floyd. No, from bell to bell, Manny's gonna be in your face pushing you. And then when you're on the back foot and you have to play defense and then try and counter, but you're also getting hit, bro, you're gonna get tired. And
So
you already
you. Yeah.
you don't already have the best gas tank. And it's like And then when you're tired, that's when your hands drop. When your hands drop, that's when you like you start breathe. Your breathing is more labored. That's when body shots will hurt more. That's when
Not
you might
to
get
mention
rocked.
that Manny's lightning fast too with his
I don't
punches.
care.
You
I
know.
don't care if Manny's 45, bro. He's dude. The way he like fought like his most recent ones, like Thurman and Bradley and
Mhm. The
Rios, like
Thurman
bro,
fight was impressive, man.
he's quick for like obviously I'm being biased, but like also from like just like looking at it like from the outside, you gotta respect. Like it's like he didn't lose. Obviously, like the pep and the step is not 100% there, but bro, he looks good. I mean, if he goes at Conor like that, no man, Conor might melt because it's just boxing too, you know.
It makes me sad just thinking about it because the fact that Floyd is going to be fighting freaking Logan Paul, it just means that he's never going to fight Manny again, probably. You know?
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Upsetting.
That's the only thing about boxing that I I didn't love. It's like in MMA, there's no short. I mean, now after like the talking crap era, there's a lot of shortcuts. There's a lot of skipping the line. But in MMA, typically, you fight everybody.
Yeah.
You fight. Like, they're the best right now, and you're coming up. Boom, you got like Tony and Charles right now. See what's happening. With like in boxing, a lot of times, like with like especially with Floyd and the Manny thing as an example, like, bro, these guys are like already on the tail ends of their career. Now you're gonna match them up, like we're not getting to see like what could have been like prime versus prime or
Well,
like or
Floyd did that on purpose, right?
yeah
He took the fight later because he knew that.
like you know how it's gonna go now because they're like way older.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it still happened, but like, oh man, this would have been nice 8 years ago. You know,
Mhm.
like when Manny was fighting like Cotto and Margarito and Hatton, like that's when he should have fought Floyd. You know what I'm saying?
That's
And
when he was
even
most dangerous, though.
yeah, and then even in that Floyd fight, like Manny had like a messed up shoulder, so it's like,
Mhm.
but
That's what I was thinking about. I was like, man, healed shoulder. I want to see that fight again, man.
because it's not like MMA
I
where your
remember
shoulder's messed up, you can start kicking. You gotta. This is all you
Man,
got.
I
Right?
remember the day of the Floyd and Pacquiao fight. Like, I remember going to like Foodland to try and get some food, and then it was like a ghost town, man. Like, there's like carts like on its side. Like the whole parking lot was abandoned because everybody was at home getting ready to watch this fight, man. Oh, I
know.
miss those days.
Yeah. Well, bro, it's been fun. We got to do this again.
Yeah.
I'll
sure,
let
man.
you have a good rest of the night. I'll see you at work probably tomorrow. I'm gonna try my best to get this up so that before the fights, since we spoke about the fights. But
Cool, man.
yeah, bro, I appreciate you. I can't wait to see what you do next in terms of like acting, and if you have any links to like watch your most recent shows or whatever, send them to me. I'll put them in the link below so people can watch. But
Cheers, man.
yeah, bro, I appreciate you, dog. Easy, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon.
Have a good night.
Hey, bro.